targeting their malicious payloads. So we have the personal data out there. We have all the information out there, which is, of course, when on social networks, it's very structured, very easy to use, very easy to extract. So the next step is definitely automation. And I'm talking here about things like geolocating, geographically locating the location of the innocent user, or using his mother language to better target him, and last but not least, using his interests in, let's say, social engineering tricks. And I brought an example for each of these things. Is this logo familiar to you? Probably it is, right? So this is a page that is supposed to look like, let's say, a Reuters article. I'm not sure if you can see the title, but the title is "Powerful Explosion Burst in Bangalore This Morning." Right? So you'd see this title if you'd browse this page from Bangalore. If you'd browse this page from New York, the title would be something like "A Powerful Explosion Just Happened in New York." So they are dynamically changing the title of their stories based on the geographical information of the visitors. This is to make the visitors more interested in their so-called stories and more likely to try and play the movie, the video clip, which is, of course, actually a malicious file. How many of you know Romanian language? Right. So the thing with this, I actually found this in my inbox a couple of days ago. How many of you are familiar with Mr. Patrick Chang? Maybe some of you. So this is a Nigerian scam. This is a 419 scam which I received in my inbox. I was actually surprised to see it being delivered to me in Romanian. Usually they were just using English to deliver these spam emails. And what we're seeing here is that cyber criminals are starting to use online translation services like Google Translate or Babelfish to come, let's say, closer to their potential victims, to make their potential victims more likely to fall for their tricks. So, right, Nigerian scams in our own languages. That's an interesting thing. And the last example, and I think the most important one, because it's the most connected to the social networking area, is the fact that cyber criminals are using the things that we talk about, which usually are the things that we're interested in, to spread their malicious links. So this is a screenshot from the Twitter search page, which is showing here on the right the trending topics on Twitter at the moment. And on the left, there's a list of malicious links, links pointing to malicious websites that have attached these trending topic keywords. So it's very easy for them to see what things people are interested in a specific day and automatically use those keywords to spread their links, which using their keywords makes it much more likely for the links to be seen and clicked on by innocent users. Right, so with this being said, I'd like to draw some conclusions. And the first thing is that when talking about IT security, the first thing that we need to do is to educate the people, like David said. Do user education, let's say, raise the general level of awareness among normal users to a decent level? The thing is that the human mind is the hardest thing to patch. I think I saw a t-shirt about that here in the room. Now, when talking about the technology side, this is where companies like us are starting to develop, well, already started to develop proactive protection technologies that help protect the users against threats that we haven't seen so far. Virtualization and sandboxing come in help here. Also, behavioral analysis, which are technologies that can determine if an application is malicious or not by looking at what it's trying to do in the system. And the last thing to point out about targeted attacks is that a highly motivated targeted attacker is, let's say, pretty much unstoppable. A highly motivated targeted attacker will eventually succeed sooner or later. I mean, if it happened to Google, I don't see why it wouldn't happen to anyone else. And Rule will show you the breed of very advanced targeted attacks that we are seeing right now. And to end the presentation on a, let's say, interactive note, I've made a quick demo, just lasts for three minutes, of how easy it is actually to launch such a targeted attack. So the red screen is the attacker's side, which is looking for a victim. And usually the victims that they are looking for in companies are people that are not very technical, let's say people working in the human resources departments or PR departments. There are plenty of information on social networks available for this. So this is Metasploit. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this. This is an exploit framework. It is being used by security analysts to test the security of their networks, but at the same time it's being used by cyber criminals to do the same thing for their victims. So with just a couple of lines of code, anybody can create a malicious PDF document, right? PDF document that once it's opened up, it will drop the malicious payload on the user's computer. So this is the document the malicious person has created with just typing a couple of lines of code. They fire up their email application and they start writing a supposedly legitimate email to the victim. So in this case, let's say the victim is a human resources employee, and he's just been to a conference where he met a couple of potential employees. So the social engineering strategy would be something like, hey, we just met the other day at that conference. I'm not sure how many of you actually tweeted that they're coming here, but I did, so I could be a target, let's say. So we're talking about human resources, right? So I'm interested in that job offer. Here's my resume for your review. I'm attaching it. Let me know how it goes and if the CV suits your needs. All the best. Attach the malicious PDF file. Hit send. I didn't actually send the email because this is just a demo, so I saved it. But yeah, that's how simple it can be. So moving on to the victim's perspective. It's morning and the victim gets to work. And as any human resources employee, they start browsing the internet. Right. After they finish browsing the internet, while they do this, let's say the attacker is eagerly waiting for results, but nothing is here because, of course, the victim didn't open up their email client yet. But by now, the victim really starts working on things. So they can work on personal things like, I don't know, personal secret documents. They can work on corporate things like, let's say, a financial statement, which is, of course, a very confidential thing. This is just a demo. This is not how financial statements look in Romania. But, I don't know, the HR plan for 2010, maybe they need to hire or to fire more people, depending how good the company is going. The budgets for 2010, again, some maybe pretty delicate data. Okay, so the work is done. Eastern Europeans, they don't like to work that much. So it's time to check email, right? And there it is, a very legitimate looking email. The reconnaissance part was done pretty well. So the victim clicks on the document, and then all this stuff happens. Of course, this is a demo, so you can actually see how the files are being copied from the victim's machine to the attacker's machine. But in real life, the victim would just see the PDF document, and everything would just happen in the background. So if we move to the attacker screens here, we can see how all the files, all the documents from the victim's main hard drive were actually copied to his drop zone. So that's it. That's how simple it is. And I'm going to hand this thing to Ryan to move on. Thank you very much.